Hello everyone, and you are watching Data Analytics Professionals, and today lecture is about our lecture series on SQL for data analysts and data science. And let's quickly go into slides and see today's topic. Now, as you see, today's topic is SQL CRUD operation create tables statement, and let's see how we could execute this within our SQL queries. Now, remember, tables are used to store data in the database, and tables are uniquely named within a database and schema. Each table contains one or more columns, and each column has an associated data types that defines the kind of data it can store. For example, it could be numbers, strings, or temporal data. Now, to create a new table, just remember we need to use the create table statement, and that could be as follows. Okay, now this is one of the way the syntax is given. There could be different ways, and general way is to, like this, that create a table, that you give the name of the database, and you show the schema name, you put the schema name, and then you create a table. And I mean to say, you give the name of the table, which must be unique. Okay, and then inside these parentheses you give the name of the column. Here pk underscore column is a name of a column and its data type. And then if it's a primary key, you show the primary key, and I can also show you what we could add to primary key, but that's once I'm going to show you, the real execution in the SQL management server. Okay, so let's continue here. First of all, so column underscore one is another column, its data type, and some constraints. Then again, column name, column two, column underscore two, data type. So these are the ways you could actually, create column and its data type. So you can show the data type, you can show the size of that column can constrain, and likewise, and you can at the end you can show table constraints and close parentheses and then semicolon, and that's going to create a table. Now, in this syntax, let me again, quickly, uh, inform you what we are doing. So specify the name of the database. Okay, now after you say create table, this is a statement, and then this is the name of the database, okay, in which the table is created, in which we want that this table to be created. Okay, I mean to say this table name, where we need to create it. Of course, a database must be already created before you actually want to insert a table, create a table within that database. Now, so what we need a database where we need to create this table. Okay, so this is will be that the name of the database will be given here. Or I can show you another way in my query, where I will take this name of database and I will separately give the name. I will request my query use the database, give the name of the database, and then I don't need to show it here. Then I can proceed it with schema name and the table name. And if I don't show this schema name, schema, then it will take it automatically default one, which generally is dbo. Okay, and more about all that in later sections, but I will try to make this syntax look a bit more simpler once we execute the query. Now, the database name must be the name of an existing database. That's already I said. You need to show the database which is already created. Okay, it should be existing already. For example, I can use the one which I created in previous video, or maybe a video or two before, the data analytics professionals DB database, and you can use the existing one. If you don't show the database, then if you don't show the database, then the database name default to the current database. So then whatever database you have in the system, then it will create this table inside that database. Now, remember second point, that specify the schema to which the new table belongs. Okay, and if you don't understand the schema, leave it to me and I will make it more clear in the coming lectures. What I could do, I could even take this off, and I will show you how I will take this out of this query, out of this query, and I mean to say out of this statement. And then even without schema, I'm not going to show you use the schema name, but it's going to pick the default, and I will show you how that happens. Now third point is space by the name of the new table. That's here. This is must, and this must be unique. Okay, you can't create a table if if you don't name it, and it must be unique. Now fourth point is each table should have a primary key. Okay, and we are talking about see if I created some columns. Okay, but one of them I set as a primary key. And what's for primary key, foreign key, okay, all that I have discussed in previous videos. If you basically a primary key is a key which identifies a record, okay, within a table. So and the foreign key is a key which actually creates a relationship between two tables. Okay, where it is foreign key in one table, well, it could be a primary key in the other table. Okay, but more I have already discussed about what is primary key, what's foreign key. If you don't understand these concepts, please go into my lectures, previous lectures, and come back to this lecture once you have comprehend the concept. And now let's go back where we were. Okay, so fourth point was each table should have a primary key which consists of one or more columns. Typically we list the primary key columns first and then other columns, and that's what I have also shown in the if you see, I have shown in here as well. Okay, I've shown here as well. Here is the primary key at the beginning. Now, if the primary key contains only one column, we can use the primary key keywords after the column name. And if the primary key consists of two or more columns, we then need to specify the primary key constraint as a table constraint. Okay, and each column has an associated data type specified after its name in the statement. That's what I have already shown you. See, if you give the column name, you show what data type will be stored in that column. So that's what it is. And a column may have one or more column constraints such as not, null, and unique. And if you don't understand what is null value, and basically the null value is that value is absent. Okay, and if maybe some fields you want, for example, you can't have a person without having a name of that person, so at least you must have first and the last name of the person so that you could later on identify them. But if you want to create a customer table and you are not going to have first name, last name, middle name, then how could you know who is that person? So there needs to be some these constraints such as not null and unique stuff. More on this in coming videos. Fifth, a table may have some constraints, okay, specified in the table constraints section, such as foreign key, primary key, unique, and check. And once I'm going to create tables, create relationship, I will come back to these concepts again. Don't worry, at the moment it's going to be too much if I'm going to bombard all to you, all of you, the terminologies, if you are not aware of primary key, foreign key, unique, and check. Although primary key, foreign key, you should be familiar by now, and unique is a distinct value. So you should be aware of all these, if not by a check. But all these primary key, foreign key, unique, check, everything will be repeated in the coming lectures, because I'm going to create tables and create relationships, and these terms will be again highlighted and explained. So please note that the create table is complex, okay, and has more options than the syntax discussed, as I said. but we will gradually, I'm going to gradually introduce you to each individual options in the subsequent videos, and it's a learning process altogether, and you need to stay tuned. You need to subscribe, you need to connect to my account and watch my all videos from video 1 to last video. And I'm going to divide, for example, this SQL series for data analysts and data scientist in beginners level, then intermediate level, then advanced expert level. So you need to keep on watching my videos so that you grasp everything and become an expert in the field. Now, if you understood all that, then it's time to open our Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio and have a look what we have inside that. And for that, let us see what we have there. Let us see what we have there. Now here it is. If you see, my SQL Server Management Studio is already open, and task for SQL CRUD operation create table is simply I'm going to execute this query. And now let's see what I'm doing here. Just a bit different, and trying to make that syntax look a lot easier than you have seen in the previous slides. So what I'm doing, I'm saying use this database. So I don't need to show now database inside my create table, right? Because I'm already saying just you have to use this database, and that's it. So it's going to now use my this database. And before actually I create this query, before I execute this statement, let's have a look. This is my database, okay, which I created in one of my previous video. And then if you see, here are the tables inside that table. And if you see, I have systems table, I have file tables, I have external tables, I have graph tables, and I don't have anything else. Okay, for example, if you see, you go inside this adventure works 2017 and you open tables, you also have, I also have these tables which I have in other, but there are some other created tables, user created tables. See, so I don't have any of such tables yet, but that's what we are going to we are going to learn how to create such tables, such customized user defined tables. So now so this will be my database, so it's going to activate this database, and then I'm going to create a table named as customers. It's going to name as customers, and this will be, for example, if you see, this is the name of the table, then it's a data type, then I'm telling it's a primary key. And now here is one more thing, identity. And what it is simply, it basically tells to SQL Server that please generate this customer ID automatically, starting from 1 and incremented by 1. Okay, it's simple. It can't be simpler. I can't explain it in a simpler term than this. So so it's basically automatic generation of customer ID. As soon as I put a new record, it's going to generate 1. The second record is going to generate 2 here. Okay, that I will also show you. These things will come in the coming video, so don't worry, just bear with me. Now title. Okay, so what is this title? It is a varchar, and length of size of the title could be up to 8 character, and it can be null. Now first name varchar. Okay, now size is 20, and it's not null, so it's not null, so it is must. You have to show it, can't be left alone, it can't be left empty. Now middle name could be left empty because I have shown that it could be a null. And last name not null. Again, I would like a person to have first name and the last name, and so on. And then this is very simple, house name, street. I'm not going to now explain you everything. It's all similar. Only the data types are changing. Okay, here's the int, here's varchar, here is int, here is decimal, and I've just put the salary. Don't worry about this. I'm just trying to show you that you can basically have all these fields in one table, but in a practical world you might need to normalize the different tables, and then you need to know which fields should go in one table and which fields which columns should go in the another table and create a separate table. But at the moment I'm just showing you, it's just the beginners level. I'm just trying to show you what is how to create a table, trying to give you some uh, field names, and in later videos I will show you how we could make from one table. We have to separate the columns to so that the normalization rules are applied as well. Now let's analyze about create table syntax, although I haven't talked much about it already, but let's quickly do a little bit of more analysis on it. The create table is a keyword telling the database system what we want to do. Okay, so this is what we want to do with this database. We want to create table, name this, but the attributes of the table are here. Okay, in our case we want to create a new table. It's let's say called customers. Okay, call customers. Now the unique name and or identifier for the column for the table follows the create table statement. Okay, so the unique name, okay, this is unique, this must be unique within this database, otherwise it will show error. Okay, and then in the brackets comes the list defining each column in the table and what sort of data type it is, what sort of data type it um, will store, and its size. Okay, we also define constraints, but we also could define any constraints. Will make more sense, I think, in over this lecture. Now okay, now please note the customer ID column has primary key column, okay, which I have already shown you that of primary key column of the table. Here the identity 11 instructs SQL server to automatically generate integer numbers for the column starting from 1 and increasing by 1 for each new row or each new record. Okay, now it's simple, and in real world scenario you could have a custom, something like this, or maybe you might have to generate a customer ID from having a pattern like 6 zeros and 1, or 7 zeros or 1, or 8 zeros and 1 at the beginning, but these things, those things come later. But this is, let us stay at the level, and try to only use that terminology which helps you to understand the basics. Okay, if this is all, if it's all understood by yourself, okay, so using this database I am going to create this table, and I'm showing you, I can still show you, I can refresh this. Oh, I have already have this table here, so let me create let us create a clients table. Okay, might have executed this to check if all is working. Okay, so I'm checking, I am giving the clients table, and then do I need this? Do you think client will tell me salary? No, I don't think so. We should execute things in a way it makes sense to us. Now client could have client ID. Then I could have dropped it, but I don't want to now start dropping, and then because you don't remember, you don't, I have not explained how to drop tables yet. That's why I'm not doing that drop yet, because you might start seeing why this person is executing those commands that he has not yet explained. So not to worry. So client ID and client's table, client ID, then first name, last name, and he might have uh home or office address, office number. Might have office number, street, town, postcode, and I don't know if he is going to give me age, so I might say can be left as null. Okay, now I'm going to execute this query. If you see, I'm refreshing, so expanding. I have only customers, I don't have clients. Here I go. Now command completed successfully, and that's what we wanted to see. Okay, you see, this is what I wanted to see. It's all done, but it's not showing yet here. For that, simply right click, refresh, and here it is. You see, it's so simple. Now if you go inside it and check inside column, and here it is. Everything that we mentioned is now here. See, everything is here. Okay, the main thing is we have created a table which is the name of the table is clients. Of course it is still empty. Of course it is empty, but that is not a problem because we can insert now records inside this table, and then we can update, we can delete, and we can fetch the information, and all those statements, all those SQL statements and queries that you learn, we can start executing even on this. I can now pick records from here and send them inside this table, and I will show you all that in coming lectures, how to use, for example, how to populate a table using another SQL statement and bringing data from some other table into this table, or bringing data into our table from some other database. And we are going to learn a lot, but you have to, for that, if you are interested in all that stuff, then surely what I request you, if you like this video and you would like to learn more, then please subscribe, connect to my account if you haven't done until now, and please hit the notification bell so that you get notified as soon as I upload new videos. And I hope to see all of you in next video. Until then, thank you all for watching. Data analytics professionals. And remember, sharing is caring. With that, it's time to say goodbye and stay safe.